My guest today really sits on that same bus, refusing to give up her seat and really advancing forward what it looks like to be an entrepreneur who is a minority, an entrepreneur who is a woman. Would you help me get all of your daughters, nieces, sisters, and those who are forward thinkers to lean into this podcast, to listen to what I think is one of the most defining minds of this generation. I'm glad to have you, Ariana.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are
so
amazing.
much.
History always happens out of chaos.
That is true.
Yeah, not out of times of convenience. And people who are listening, they've been under a rock and don't know
true.
why you have been catapulted. Talk about really just the last year of your life and what has happened.
Oh my gosh. I serve as the CEO and co-founder of the Fearless Fund. I run the nation's first venture capital fund that's built by women of color for women of color.
Yes.
And from there, we ended up in a federal lawsuit.
Amazing.
Yes, conservative legal strategists are suing us, basically saying it should be illegal to do what we do.
Wow.
Yes, so that is very big and definitely a problem. They filed 3 things against my company on August 2nd, 2023. A temporary restraining order, meaning I thought those were people, not businesses.
Right, so did I.
Said, what is this? Meaning literally to stop you from operating your business.
I've read data recently that the fastest growing population of entrepreneurs in America is Black women.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Black women in particular are the fastest growing demographic when it comes to entrepreneurs. We're starting businesses at exponential rates.
Yeah.
Women of color overall are the most founded entrepreneur demographic. They're just the least funded.
Wow.
Yes, the least. And the numbers are horrible. Yeah. Women of color receive about 0.39%. Now that's combined. Now you're talking that's black, brown, yellow.
Right.
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 That's combined. Black women are even less than that in that fraction of a percent.
Young women who are looking at going into business, I often say what George Fraser has said is that we were raised as minorities to pursue our passion, not necessarily to pursue the profit and presume that the profit will come out of our passion. For Black women, young women who are starting off in business, what are the areas you would encourage Black women to pursue and go after?
Well, I do believe that passion is important, but if you're going to be in business, you got to profit.
Right.
You have to profit because there's a lot of people passionate that's
Yes.
broke. That does not work.
Yes.
You want to make sure you have, as an investor, we look at a strong brand story, like why you got into the space.
Right.
What are you solving? You want to make sure you have a strong team. Are you able to execute on what this dream is?
Yes.
You want to make sure your product is something that people want to purchase. You want to make sure that you develop traction, that there's some interest in what you're building too.
Tori, how did you end up in the position where you are?
Ooh, I don't know if we got enough time for that,
Listen,
Dr. Bryant.
I'm getting ready to change the name of this show because everybody keeps saying, do we have enough time?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the name of the show. Do we have enough time?
Right.
Because, okay, born and raised Detroit, Michigan, I've always loved business.
Yeah.
I was a kid with the lemonade stand.
Yeah.
By high school, I was selling Mary Kay.
In high school?
Oh, yeah. In middle school, I was selling poinsettias. All different ages of life. And when I got down to Florida A&M University, I opened up a mall-based retail store, 2,500 square foot, took over the Old Walton Books. That was my first time learning how to raise capital.
Yeah.
And it was hard.
Yeah.
And I raised a couple $100,000, but I can remember going in banks, going places, talking to people, and I was like, these folks don't look like me.
Yeah.
And right before we opened, I had like all the hangers and the clothes and everything around me. I still remember what I had on that day. These track pants, they were tan and red with this red tank top. And I said, Arian, don't worry about the investor landscape because one day you are going to be the business investor that you were looking for.
Wow.
So that's how I got into this space. A promise I made to myself. I've always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
The store had ups and downs. One day you got $50,000, the next day is like -200. And I thought I was failing at times, but I was just young.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that business just had cycles. And there were times I thought I was failing. And I wasn't failing. I just wasn't being patient. So I keep those financials on my computer, just even as a reminder, Arian, you had a profitable business.
Yes.
But those were your emotions at the time. Moved to LA with a job, closed the store, working for Nellius Apple Bottoms.
No way.
Yes, those apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole world was looking at her.
Yes.
Doing product placement. I'm placing product on Jessica Simpson, Oprah Winfrey. Got her to wear it on the show. Don't even know this woman. Yes, wow. Tyra Banks, you name it. And this is in a 30-day window. They say, Arian, the president wants to meet you. I was like, well, of course. Of course, the president wants to meet with me. I get in there, they said, we have some unfortunate news. I said, not for me. And they said, we do because we have to let you go. I'm like, let me go? I've turned this place around.
Right.
They said it's being sold and that everybody has to go. You were just the last hired, so you're the first fired.
Wow.
Yeah. Snuck into the BET Awards. That's a whole story in itself. I did sneak into this party that Jamie Foxx was throwing, and they did have a big booty contest, and the prize was $1,000. Now, don't y'all judge.
Yes.
I know this is a Christian audience. Don't y'all judge.
No, listen.
And I didn't recommend myself, but he saw me in the audience, and he said, come up. And I said, oh, thank God, I'm about to eat good tonight. So somebody came out the audience, and they were literally like a size probably -2, and she did every twerk split you think of, and the crowd went wild. He said, what you gonna do? And I said, well, I can't do that. Not that I'm not able. I said, it's because I know the woman my mother raised. I said, and I have to keep my dignity, even in my desperation.
Wow. Wow.
So didn't do it, and I was so grateful because my next business after that, I ran a PR and marketing company, and we were basically outsourced to executive produce one of an event that took place at his house. And when he saw me, he said, oh, you look so familiar. And I was like, I'll just have one of those faces. Like, I wasn't about to remind him of nothing. But I was definitely glad I kept, like I say, my dignity, even in the midst of desperation, because I was tired of eating off the dollar menu.
No, I get it.
I find out that the Steve Harvey morning show takes place there, but on the 19th floor. So they're letting me know which celebrities are coming in out the door.
Right.
And I knew it was working when Nick Cannon, I gave him my card, and he said, oh my gosh, I heard about you, you dope. And I'm thinking, like, I've only been doing this 3 weeks.
Right.
I said, oh, great, who you hear about me from?
Right.
He said, security downstairs.
No way.
I was like, oh, let me go bring them some lunch.
Yes.
And I just would shower LA Fitness on the bottom floor, and I get up every morning, and I just keep grinding it out. And just grind it out.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I met Coach Carter from the movie Coach Carter.
Yeah.
He was on the floor doing business. He said, oh, gosh, you're living in here. I would usually fall asleep much later. And I was like, yeah, I must have fell asleep early. He said, well, I'm going to help you. I said, how you going to help me? He said, I got a movie coming out, and we movie studios outsource PR marketing firms. So that was when the light bulb went off. I said, wait, they do? He said, yes. Got me a check, got an apartment, kept it moving. But I said, if they do, all of them do.
Yes.
So I called Will Packer, and people know the name now. This was not a household name by any means at the time.
That FAMU connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He and Rob Hardy, his partner, when I had my store, they used to promote their DVDs by putting posters and meet and greets in my store.
No way.
Yes. So I called, I said, okay, well, I think I got something. And he said, your timing couldn't be more perfect. He said, we're getting ready for our first big theatrical release. It was Stomp the Yard.
Good
And
grief.
oh no, I've done many #1 movies with Will. So I was like, okay. And from there, the phone just started ringing. But about 10 years into doing this business, I started meeting people in venture capital. And I never heard of it before, really.
Yeah.
I said, this is how I'm making good on that promise I gave myself in college. I said, I'm going to start a fund for women of color entrepreneurs, and I'm going to fund their businesses.
I love it. You all have given out up to this date how much to minority businesses?
Oh gosh, we've raised well over 50, but we've deployed an investment capital, I think 27 million.
Amazing.
I don't know the exact number. Let me think of it on the grant side, because we do usually a few million a year, but we've helped over 500 companies in grants. We educate over 1,000 women of color founders each year. And on our investment portfolio, our girls are rock stars.
I love it.
We have about a quarter of the portfolio right now. These women are doing 8-figure year over year, just great growth.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be headed towards exits soon.
Yeah. I want to ask, because Black women now are the lead, at least for our community, degree holders. They are the lead now breadwinners. They are the lead entrepreneurs. How do we get this for the brothers? The men need some of this. You gotta help us out,
I do
please.
agree. I know, trust me, because I get this question.
Yes.
The numbers actually are the reason that dictate what we do. So all my clients, not even intentionally, when I had the PR marketing company, were all men. I do even angel invest in Black men, all men.
Yes.
I angel invest all the time in men. But the numbers for the firm dictate what we do. Our numbers are actually still behind yours in entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Yes, we're founding more than the men, but we are still funded less.
Okay.
Because there is still an element of the boys club.
Oh, yes.
So
now that's a real thing.
It is. Yeah. So there's definitely still more funding. We haven't caught up even with y'all yet.
Okay.
On that side, because you're correct. With the degrees, with the board seats, with all this other stuff.
Right.
Yes. But in the area of entrepreneurship funding, the men are still ahead of the women. I'll give an example. Women overall, regardless of race, are only at 1.9%.
No way. How do you maintain the balance of now becoming a public figure while doing private business?
Oh,
so
Lord.
I'm seeing you on the Today Show, The View. I'm seeing you all over social media. You done kidnapped my whole Explore page. But you didn't go into this work for that.
No.
And then the last year has really thrust you into another place. My dad said something to me some years ago that messed me up. He said, this is the first generation where you can become a celebrity without having talent. You are becoming a celebrity for doing the work, not for singing, not for dancing, not for move, but really advancing people. And with that, you got to deal with the heat of a celebrity while you are in reality a servant. You got to deal with the heat of a celebrity while you are in reality a servant.
Yeah, because I didn't plan for this.
Yes.
I always knew I'd create impact in the world.
Yes.
I've always known that in my heart. I've always believed myself to be dynamic. But I think it's no different than when you gave the Rosa Parks example.
Yeah.
Where if she wanted to go to the president's inauguration, she's going to get the same tickets as Aretha Franklin.
Right.
So I do think that can happen, which I'm living it right now. And that's somebody who's like a godmother to me. Like, I grew up around Rosa Parks.
Oh, Detroit.
Yes.
Detroit.
Well, not even that. That was my father's client growing up.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yes. I mean like a real godmother. This is somebody I check on after school.
Wow.
Yes. I traveled 2 summers with her of my high schools.
Incredible.
Yeah. I think 15 and 16.
So you were really prepared for this without even knowing that this was preparation.
I did not know that at the time.
What do you see as next? Because now people who are not really looking at diversity, equity, and inclusion are now seeing it amplified with President Day at Harvard. We're seeing it amplified with so many corporations who made it pledges around George Floyd. And immediately after it was no longer regulated, they pulled it back the next day within 24 hours.
Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah, how do we keep that high beam focus on?
Whew. This is so layered. Right now in the news, just as of last week, the governor of Utah signed a bill along with 5 other states that has made DEI illegal.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I'll pull it up. It's New York Times. Y'all can pull it up. Seriously, it's now prohibited. The law has prohibited. That's why my case is such a precedent case.
Yeah.
It's because they're trying to use the law to say that these types of programs, this type of funding should be illegal. Not just us saying it. They don't want it to exist at all.
Wow.
And laws are being made and created in live time while I'm in a federal lawsuit to stop this.
Yeah.
I said, this is wild.
And it is sophisticated racism. So in the hour of Rosa Parks, you could march until the whites only sign is down. You can march until you can eat at the lunch counter. But DEI is a little bit different because you have to have the data. You got to be able to prove it. And so it is harder to get people mobilized around it because they're saying, I got a job.
It is. There is a lack of momentum.
Yes.
Because I said, oh God, if these people don't wake up, they're trying to make this illegal.
Right.
Some people, they may say they have a job, but they may not even know they're the minority mandate at their job.
Wow.
They were hired because of DEI.
Right.
And they may not even know it.
Yeah.
But I think it's no different than when you gave the Rosa Parks example.
Yeah.
Where if she wanted to go to the president's inauguration, she's going to get the same tickets as Aretha Franklin.
Right.
So I do think that can happen, which I'm living it right now. And that's somebody who's like a godmother to me. Like, I grew up around Rosa Parks.
Oh, Detroit.
Yes.
Detroit.
Well, not even that. That was my father's client growing up.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yes. I mean like a real godmother. This is somebody I check on after school.
Wow.
Yes. I traveled 2 summers with her of my high schools.
Incredible.
Yeah. I think 15 and 16.
So you were really prepared for this without even knowing that this was preparation.
I did not know that at the time.
Yeah.
I have pictures with her that are endless. I had no clue.
What would you say?
But I don't know if I answered your question. You said, how do I handle the both?
Yeah.
I think I'm just taking it one day at a time.
Yeah. This is the most critical court case of this generation, and people don't even realize what really is at stake. I want you to tell, what's at stake?
Everything.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And I really need everybody watching to make sure you share this video, show this with your friends. Yeah. We got to get the awareness out. Contracts are at stake. Jobs are at stake.
Yeah.
Education is at stake. HBCUs are at stake because that's race conscious. Anything that's race conscious is at stake. Yeah. Anything designed for black people is at stake. Anything designed for brown people is at stake. Anything gender specific is at stake. Amicus briefs are documents people can provide in support of our argument, organizations. So the Ford Foundation and all the big foundations stepped up.
Yeah.
To send papers to say, nope, y'all can't do this. This is wrong. We had 19 attorney generals step up and say, we have got to ask for this case to be dismissed. We have had about 1,000 papers of people writing in for amicus briefs to the court saying, y'all need to stop this. It is so much at stake here. But anything race conscious. Right after my suit happened, the government stopped their 8A program. You can even look it up. I'm filed on August 2nd.
Hold on. Let's do remedial summer school real quick. Tell everybody what the AA is.
Oh, yes. I got you. The SBA 8A program, it is a minority certification program. So say if you are black or brown or female and have a business and you want to get government contracts and government money, it goes through the 8A program.
Yes.
Me and all my companies are sued. Now, mind you, it was a sunny day in Atlanta. I found out in the news we had a federal lawsuit.
No way.
Oh, no, I was blindsided.
No way.
Yeah, I'm seeing in the news we got a lawsuit. I thought it was a hoax. I said, no, we don't.
Yeah.
So then I told my staff, well, look it up. I said, if it's a federal lawsuit, it's got to be public.
Right.
Well, they found it, and I was like, Ben Crump, everybody else started calling on speed dial. I said, hey, I need some help.
Right.
So we're sued August 2nd. By August 3rd, the article reads, the SBA 8A program is paused. I said, the government? They operated out of fear.
Yeah.
They even said, we don't have the money to fight lawsuits the way you guys do as private entities. I said, well, shoot, you got more cash than me right now. Let me know what's going on.
Right.
But people just started backtracking their programs out of fear. So on that date, the minority certifications got paused. People who were filing for them couldn't get them. The minority grants got stopped. All this was happening at the government. It was nuts. I was like, what?
I'm going to make you moderator of the presidential debate for 90 seconds. If you have in front of you Donald Trump and Joe Biden, both of them are in front of you, you're saying, listen, I represent a legion of forward-thinking black women who are founders but not funded. I'm taking your language. What would you want to hear from either candidate then you say, okay, well, this is a campaign I can get with.
That is so loaded, Dr. Bryant. Because I got questions even
yes.
beyond my court case.
Yes.
That is so loaded. But on this subject, I'm in court right now according to constitutional law
Yeah.
of Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866.
Wow.
So slavery was abolished in 1865. Exactly. When I saw the court papers, I thought only civil rights act I knew of was Dr. King in 64.
Right.
So I said, is this another hoe? My question,
Yes.
of course, to the presidential candidates would be, what laws are being put in place, or are they going to put in place to protect our economic freedom?
Yeah. I was having a conversation recently with a gentleman who was talking about civil rights was the next phase after civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
That if we don't have economic
true.
parity, then it means absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Black people are the nation's lead consumers
Mm-hmm.
and least producers.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you as somebody who's operating in that space? What I have never heard from anybody who breathes your oxygen, where are you at the whole issue of reparations?
Oh, no, I'm going to tell you why this
Yes.
is critical.
Yes.
They had me on a panel about DEI and reparations.
No way.
And I made it clear to them. One, I definitely believe in it. But I made it clear. I said, if we don't win this court case, there are no reparations.
Wow.
Because reparations are race conscious.
Yeah.
Literally.
Full stop.
Seriously. I said, they're trying to stop everything race conscious.
Yeah.
So if it's race conscious, I said, and the talk on reparations, and then the legislators, they said Arian's right. They
No.
said legally, all the work we've done at a state level to try to institute reparations will be dismantled.
Yeah. Where is it really in your bailiwick in terms of corporate responsibility? Because these corporations really should be participating without having it being mandated.
Woo! Especially when you said the consumer dollars.
Yes.
You are correct. I like the civil rights analogy. I always said I was working in civil rights 2.0 when I realized that Dr. King's work ended at economic freedom.
Yes.
And we aren't truly free unless we are economically free. Whew. What was the question, Dr. Bryant? This is just loaded.
Yeah, what is the responsibility of corporations?
Oh.
Where, let's say the government says, no, we're not going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But
As
should the
long as we are the
corporations
consumers,
yes,
they
yes.
are responsible.
Yes.
And right now, I have been getting pressure from, I would say, a lot of people, from media outlets, Roland Martin. They want to know a list. They want the list
Yeah.
of everybody who we should not be supporting.
Wow. Essay that I read is this generation is tired of marching, tired of protesting.
Mm-hmm.
When they weren't even doing the marching in the first place, but that's a whole nother show. Is economic, I'm going to say selective spending the new boycott, the new march? If we're not going back to D.C., yeah, is that the strategy? Because I contend the Montgomery bus boycott happened, going back to Godmother Rosa, not because of the speeches of Dr. King, but because they withheld their money.
Yeah, there was nothing moral about it.
Yeah.
It was they changed the economics.
Right.
There was nobody had a just decision. Trust me.
Right.
You withheld the money. I think that's one way, but I think that we have to, I hate to say this, but I think we have to be fully aware of our, I don't want to say, but I'll put it this way, opponent strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Because technically, I mean, they're just looking out for their own interests.
Right.
He said, we're going to dismantle education. He said, we're going after employment. It was all written up in my case. I said, he didn't wrote out the whole plan. I said, this is horrible.
Right.
So we have to have a legislative plan because they're using law and litigation to basically dismantle things. We have to have, like you said, an economic plan as far as how we're spending our dollars. I think it's a little bit more multi-pronged. But we're going to have to get a few things in place. And you're correct. It may not look like the protests of the 50s and 60s. So one of our portfolio companies said, we are in basically a civil war.
Wow. No, but you got an army of people who have your back and an army
thank
of
you.
prayer warriors who are standing around you. Of the area that gives you the greatest heartburn, as it were, around our community and economic development is what? If there was one thing that you could inject into us to know and to follow and to do, what is the thing that we're not doing that you so desperately wish we were?
This just came in my spirit. I think one of our strategies we need to talk to the other side. Okay, I'm trying to get all the right words for this. So recently, Bill Ackman, businessman, who usually spends his money kind of liberally, he came out against DEI. And Reverend Sharpton was like, Aaron, come meet me down here. We're going to protest. I said, okay, I got you. I got down there to protest. And then I said, well, where is he at? I want to talk to him. And anytime we see words like that, where the root word is so similar. And I was just like, no, I said, through conversing, he can be converted.
Right.
And I said, I don't think we are taking enough time to have those discussions. I saw this, well, even biblically, people overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of one's testimony.
Right. Right.
Yes, through conversing, we can have conversion.
You're
and
right.
that's like the faith plus works is a live example. I saw a movie. I can't remember the name of it. And it was during the civil rights era. And somebody would have those debates. And they would bring both sides in. And instead of like being in like a law situation or litigating or mediation,
Right.
they would debate it. They would have the pros to this, the cons to this.
Right.
And through that exercise, whoever led it, he started to convert people.
Wow.
Because people had a chance to express their empathy to be heard on both sides. But right now, 80% of white people's networks are 100% white.
Say that again, slow.
80%
Yes.
of white